Hi, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to New Light Streaming Love and Sassy Seer Sheila, as this will be seen on both channels. This is Everything You Were Never Taught About Telepathy by Jason Gray. Telepathy is not a superpower. It is a forgotten faculty. I feel like that's true. It is not magic, it is memory. If you quiet yourself enough to listen beneath the words, beneath the noise, beneath the walls you were taught to build around your thoughts, you will remember that you have always had it. You just stopped using it. Now, I feel like that's a true statement, and I'll tell you why. I have been experiencing moments of things like this ever since I started tuning into myself more. There have been times where I've wondered if that's what it was, and I've doubted myself quite a bit. I don't anymore. And it's the more I tune in, the more it shows itself to be so. Back to Jason's writing here. This world trained you to speak instead of transmit, to type instead of feel, to convey data instead of resonate truth. Telepathy is still there, buried beneath the architecture of language, waiting, listening, still active like a radio left on in an abandoned tower. In moments of stillness, trauma, love, death, or silence, you have felt it. You just did not know what to call it. What is telepathy? The word comes from the Greek tele, meaning distant, pathos, meaning feeling or experience. Telepathy is the ability to directly transmit consciousness across space and time without the use of spoken or written language. Telepathy is resonance-based information transfer between conscious entities bypassing linear symbols occurring through fields of harmonic frequency. It is the truth behind the thought delivered pure. No filter, no performance, no delay, no misunderstanding. Whereas language is linear, telepathy is holographic. You do not just, quote, hear the thought. You feel the intention. You absorb the emotional texture. You receive the shape of the idea as a full construct, not just as a sound string. Words can be forged. Telepathy cannot. This is why true telepaths are terrifying to liars, because you cannot hide in thought what your vibration betrays. And that's a true statement. Let me just assure you. I'll never forget how I was introduced to that concept either. And that's a video for another time. How telepathy was lost. Telepathy was once common. In pre-linguistic civilizations, Atlantean, Lemurian, pre-Tartarian, pre-collapse societies, it was the primary mode of communication. Even in ancient Egypt and among Mayan priesthoods, it was trained as a soul skill, not a gift, but an inherent right. Then came the rise of language as control, the imposition of religious intermediaries, division of meaning into alphabetic grids, the programming of the left hemisphere over the holistic right, the fear of privacy breach, the shame implanted around inner thought, and most importantly, the global trauma event known as the Tower of Babel. I want to pause here for a moment and say that I have long suspected that, and I've even said, we all speak a different language. Even those who are all, the only language you speak is English, check it. Because here's the deal. You speak your version of English, even different from your family's version of English, because so much goes into it is not just the words or the book definition of those words either. It's every experience you've ever had with those words from the time you were teeny tiny being taught those words. Back to Jason's writing here. From that moment on, the Tower of Babel, mankind was fractured in its thought structure. No longer could we simply know each other. We had to perform understanding through encoded noise. This was the birth of miscommunication, and with it came war, manipulation, propaganda, and hierarchy. Once you lose the ability to speak soul to soul, you are forever at the mercy of the interpreter. And honestly, since each of us interpret language completely differently, I got to be honest with you, ever since I realized that that's a true thing, I understand that I may not know what another being is trying to communicate to me. And that has changed everything for me. Types of telepathy. Telepathy is not just one thing. There are multiple layers, each with their own mechanisms. Emotive telepathy, the direct transmission of feeling, often between twins, lovers, and bonded souls. Happens in moments of intense joy or distress. You, quote, feel someone miles away without a word. Cognitive therapy, the raw transference of thought, idea, or concept, often requires strong emotional, intentional alignment. Visual imagery telepathy, you see what someone else is seeing in their mind's eye. Ancient tribes used this to share visions during ceremony. Dream telepathy, connection in the astral realm. Souls meeting in dream space, transmitting information that later arises in waking memory. Cellular or ancestral telepathy, communication through DNA, the inherited emotional and intuitive resonance of the bloodline. Why you feel things, quote, from your grandfather without ever meeting him. Collective field telepathy, thoughts that arise, quote, in midair. Ideas that move across populations as if planted. This is why ideas often arrive simultaneously in multiple places, telepathic fields open. Biological/animal telepathy, The unspoken bond between humans and animals. How pets sense danger, illness, or death before it occurs. How flocks move in sync. Synthetic telepathy. The artificial replication of natural telepathic ability through tech, already being explored by DARPA, Elon Musk's Neuralink, and other transhumanist programs. This is not telepathy, it is surveillance. How to awaken telepathy again. You do not, quote, learn telepathy. You unlearn the noise that blocks it. I feel like that's a true statement. Here is how. Stillness. The quieter your inner field, the more clearly others' transmissions can be felt. Now, I can attest to that, and that actually was partly why I used to and sometimes still will hold intuitive hangout sessions where I read the cards for people. It was a way for me to practice stilling my and being able to tune into both my inner ear and the other being. Meditation is not a tool, it is the access point. Resonance tuning. Learn what your vibration feels like so you can differentiate when an incoming thought is not yours. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that. I mean, there have been times I know I've questioned, is this mine? Gonna have to ask Jason to take me down a little bit better path than that, because he just goes on here, moves on. Learn what your vibration feels like so you can differentiate when an incoming thought is not yours. Empathic honesty. Stop lying to yourself emotionally. The more honest you are inwardly, the more precisely you will feel outward telepathic truth. I think that's true. When we're so willing to lie to ourselves, I really don't see how it is that we could feel anything if we're not telling ourselves the truth. Silent exchange. Sit with someone in silence. Send them an image or motion mentally. Ask if they felt it. Practice. Play. Record results. I like that idea and would love to practice that myself. If you have no one to play with in that way, send me an email, consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. Let's do it. Let's figure out how to do that. We can do it from a distance. Doesn't have to be right in the same room with each other. Dream tracking. Pay attention to who appears in your dreams and what you say. Many of your, quote, dreams are nightly transmissions. Yeah. Now, that I don't recall my dreams. That's part of it. I know I have had dreams of late because I can sense that I'm dreaming as I wake up, but nothing has come. And it's not for lack of trying, let me just say. I'd gotten to the point where I felt as though, and actually my own inner guidance has been that when it's time for me to remember, I will. And so I don't have to worry about it not happening right now. Protection and discernment. Not all telepathic inputs are beneficial. Learn to shield your field. Visualize auric light. Reject incoming frequency that feels manipulative. Well, I agree with that to a point, and what I mean by that is that I have said many times, if something comes in my field, it is for me to figure out and deal with. So I get the point there. Purity of intention. Telepathy functions on truth. If your intention is manipulation, you will block the channel. Well, oh, I see. If you're intending to be untruthful with someone else, your own channel is blocked, I suppose. I have to ask him exactly what he means by that. Why it was feared. A population that communicates soul to soul cannot be controlled. If you can read the true intention of a politician, a preacher, a lover, a corporation, a guru, you will never be deceived again. Well, I honestly, I don't have any problem with that. So I think, I don't know, I'm pretty good at that already. Yeah. Telepathy renders lies impossible. This is why institutions created language, shame, taboo, and ridicule around it. They mocked the psychic. They demonized the intuitive. They murdered the telepathic priestesses of the old temples. They taught children that inner voices were imaginary. And I know that's true. I cannot tell you how many times I was told, you're stop lying. You're not hearing that. You couldn't possibly know that. Yep. They taught children that inner voices were imaginary. They invented noise to keep you from hearing the real. When a society rediscovers telepathic sovereignty, all false power collapses instantly. Pardon me. Telepathy is coming back. The field is shifting. The grid is opening. Children are arriving already aware of how to transmit. I have said that children that have been born over the last, I want to say at least 10 years, are not so easily programmable. Oh, it can be done. It would be hard to do that. You have to work awfully hard to program them, but it's not as easy as it once was. And the newest ones, I don't think they'll be programmed at all. At all. You are feeling others before they speak. You are thinking what someone else just said. Oh, that's happening a lot. You are, or someone will pull it right out of my field. I'll be sitting there thinking it and they'll say it. You are, quote, knowing things that no one told you. This is not coincidence. This is reboot. The tongue is falling. The signal is rising. Those who remember how to use it with integrity will walk through the collapse of false communication into the real. No manipulation, no posturing, no duality, only this. I see you. I feel you. I know. You know that I know. Telepathy is not a future tech. It is a past self. It is ready to come home. Let your words become fewer. Let your signal become clearer. Let your vibrations speak. The ones who are meant to hear you already are. Wow. I love that, Jason. There is so much in this one. I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It is just a matter of your perspective and your perception of your perspective. And just know that you are exactly at the spot you need to be. And just relax into yourself is the biggest thing I can say. That's been my guidance, my own personal guidance internally. So until we meet again, my friends, be well.